Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness, it is another wonderful, absolutely great day. And I have a project that I just recently started. I want to show you the progress on. I am so excited. This is a new to me designer. She has her patterns in both Polish and in English, and it's Martika Grabowska. Grabowska. I keep wanting to say Grabowski, but it's an A on the end. Grabowska. I would assume that's how you would say the name, but again, that is an assumption. So there you have it. And that is a new to me designer, and she has some gorgeous designs. So some of you may or may not have seen that Alice, my crochet along that I'm working on, we have had a little falling out. I love Alice, but I had a little issues doing 4 rounds of double crochet. And instead of working on that, I decided I wanted to pick an easy project, something crochet, something that would be a, instant gratification. So then I found this designer whom I've never seen before and instantly fell in love with these stunning, absolutely intricate, gorgeous crochet designs. And there's even a hexie cardigan. You can make yourself a super fancy hexie cardigan. So instead of doing the responsible thing and mastering that 4 square double crochet round, whatever you want to call it, yeah, I started another project. Oh yes, I did. And do I feel guilty and do I feel bad? Not at all. Alice knows what she did. I don't feel bad at all, not a bit. And I let hubby pick out the pattern, because as I was scrolling through these, there's like 15 patterns and each is just more beautiful and more gorgeous than the next. And I couldn't really decide which one I wanted to do. He picked out this one, let's see, mostly because of the color. And it is the Rowana shawl, and he picked it out for the color, and he also picked it out for the lacy. He liked the lacy details of this particular shawl. So I am using a Yarn Arts cake of yarn. It's 1,093 meters of yarn. It's like these things up here, the sparkly one up there. It's like that. So I have this right here. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And the color on this is 3290. It starts with a very, very light pink. It almost looks white. The sparkle in it is a lavender sparkle, very pretty. And you can continue to make this particular big triangle bigger or smaller. She does have, and it's all charted, so she does have in there, once you get to a certain part and you're like, hey, I'm running out of yarn, I don't want to make it anymore, or I just am questioning my life choices, there's different ways that you can end it off to where it looks like it's finished. And I have gotten to where I am on my 3rd knot. If you know anything about these yarns and you've used them before, you know that you tend to get really excited when you get that little tiny knot in there. That means that one of the colors, there's like 4 strands. Now this one's wound together like an actual yarn, but okay, we're not going to get that there. It's wound together, but it does have like 4 different strands in there. And every time it starts to change color, one of the strands changes. That's how that works. It changes color. So the color changes are gradual. So I have made my 3rd knot, which means I'm getting into the pink. So I have finished that white section right there. And you can see I'm getting into, you can see it now. Yeah, look at that. We're getting into some of the color, and it is far enough that even without it stretched, hubby can see the pattern. When I first started it, I had just a few rounds on it, and obviously it's a lot smaller. He can't even figure out which end of the triangle I'm working on. It doesn't compute to him that it's the top, and it goes down like this, and that doesn't really register with him. But he didn't see it when it was just in the white area. He said, that's not the pattern I picked. What I picked was really lacy. Well, when this gets stretched, we can see how pretty that is. That is very lacy, very beautiful. And this yarn choice, oh my gosh. We can see how that's just, I finished the white, I'm going into a lighter pink, and look at that. That is gorgeous. Now, I had commented when I first started it, I don't think I did my puff stitches as large as what the designer did. She said 5 yarn overs for the puff stitch, and I took that as 5 loops, and I don't know. So at my beginning, I don't know how many rows, I've got smaller puffs, very, a lot smaller. They're still there. You can still see the design. You can still see everything else. And then when I read it again and I saw that, I did add an extra, grouping of stitches. So I did make them a little bit bigger, but they're still not with that 5 yarn overs, because I think that's 9 loops or something like that is what you're going to end up with, a lot more than what I have. And I did make them a little bit larger, so those are bigger in the pink section than they are in the white section. And if I decide that I want to do it even bigger again, I'll go a few more rows and then I'll go ahead and maybe make them just a tad bit bigger to where it kind of flows in and it looks intentional. I didn't want to go from the little tiny ones all the way up to, wow, it's right there. And the other thing, I'm not upset about that. I'm loving the way this looks. I don't think I've missed out on it. I don't think it looks, oh, wow, you're really, your puff stitches aren't really popping. And you know what I'm getting at. I think you can really see them. I think it shows up well. Look how pretty that's going to be. Oh my gosh. Here, we'll put, there we go. There we go. Do a close up. But I think that's going to show up really, really well. And I have 1,093 yards with this one cake. I don't think I have another one of this exact cake. I have used this color before. This is my second time buying this exact color. I really like it. I could have gone digging a bit more. I do have other cakes where I have 2 of the same cake. I just didn't want to go do that. Hubby wanted a purple one. This is the first one that I came across. I had purple in it. Went done. What she uses a size G 4mm crochet hook. I'm using an F with 3.75 millimeters, so I am using a smaller crochet hook. She used 1,500, and she says 1,531 yards to 1,750 yards, depending on how big you want your particular piece. And I know 100% this is 1,093 yards. So it will be as big as it is. I don't know. Each round eats up more yarn. We do know that. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I don't know how big it will block to, how much that will make it grow once I do finish that piece. But it'll be as big as it is. And I have plenty other yarns. So if I really did want to make this bigger, once I get it to this yardage, whatever size that is, if I want to make it bigger, I can go through all my other cakes over there and say what works, what looks like it would be a nice match or a good fit to it. And I can add that onto it. I could also go to hobby website if I wanted to buy some yarn, because they have a lot of these things. And I can look and see what color cake would be appropriate to deal with that. I could go out to Etsy if I wanted to, or the other sites that have the Yarn Arts flowers, and I could get another particular skein of this one if I chose to, and maybe go in reverse order, start with the purple because this is ending in purple, or just use the rest of the purple, buy a cake and just using the rest of the purple. Sounds like it might be a waste, but I could do that. If I get far enough and I'm like, wait, I really think I need more, I could also end up, if I didn't have another full skein of something that I wanted to use, I could come up to like right here and then bounce between cakes back and forth. And then as soon as I get to that knot, then switch to the other cake. So then each color change would be a little bit thicker. So there are options that I can do. I'm not worried about that currently. I'm just enjoying the process. I'm using my size F crochet hook. I've got what's right now a beautiful headscarf. I mean, it is. It's gorgeous. But would I wear that? I don't know. I wear some interesting things. But, it's not quite big enough for me. But but it could be if if it's one of those things that never gets done and ends up in the Tackle It series. By golly, we can put some strings on this and tie it. I mean, it's an option. It is an option. I'm going to finish it, but it's an option if you wanted to play with the stitches and see, hey, wow, I can do that. That's fun. There you go. You can always make it into something bigger or smaller. Some of the other choices that I looked at, and I'm like, all right, crazy lady, back off, is I've got some cones of yarn. Like this is, right there is some finer lace, and I thought about doing that, but I know I have at least one other crochet shawl. It's the orange one. The reason I say at least one, I know I have that. Do I have any others? I don't know. we haven't gone through everything yet, but I know I have that. It is orange. It is on the size C crochet hook, and it is very, very fine lace that I'm crocheting with. So I know I have at least one other one. So I didn't want to go down size on that and find a size C crochet hook for that matter and try that. So I wanted to stick with the things that I had with a gradient. I did like the idea with the gradient, and I like the idea of the fingering weight. So that kind of relegated me to the Mountain of Cake yarns that I have. And since Alice was being naughty anyway, I pushed her to the side. I really do need to get back to Alice. I'm not going to lie. I need to get back to her. You know, clock is ticking. You know, Christmas is coming. But yeah, so I started this. I was planning on simple, easy, fast. That's not what happened. It's not. This is not simple. This is not the simple, easy, fast. I do have a rhythm to it. I do understand what we're doing a bit more from pattern to pattern. There's a lot of front post and back post. You've got front post and back post double crochets and double triples. I don't know, the one where you're wrapping the yarn around the hook 3 times before you start working on it, right? However you call that one. But we've got a lot of those in there too. And you have to realize which stitch you're wrapping around, whether it's a front post or a back post. So there's a little bit of attention to detail. I've made a couple mistakes and I have ripped them out. But overall, very pleased with it. Loving the way the yarn just blends in right there. And that soft, subtle pink is coming in. And I think it's going to be a very beautiful, romantic piece. And it's just stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And it is everything that I was looking for. And I think my husband did a really great job of picking out this particular shawl. I was enamored with 2 of the other ones. And I'm like, whoa, maybe I don't want that. And one of them did specifically say an experienced advanced crocheter, which I am. But again, the whole object was fast, simple, easy, and a pattern that has a disclaimer of experienced and advanced doesn't generally mean fast, easy, and quick. So I kind of shied away from that one just a little bit and then just let hubby pick. So that's how we ended up with this beautiful piece, and I think he did a fantastic job. That's what I'm working on. I do have progress, which is wonderful. Did anyone else go out to the website and look at her patterns? I'm not affiliated. I'm just curious if you looked. And if you did, put hearts on it, right? You know, because that's how the Ravelry designers, they get more traffic and everything, is if you put a heart on it. You don't have to buy anything. Like I said, I'm not affiliated. I'm not getting anything. But I do appreciate beautiful designs, and what this woman was able to create and bring forth and present to all of us, I think is quite stunning. And I know Mishi has a lot of the Rena cakes. She buys specific Rena cakes with the 4 strands of yarn. And it's like fingering weight like this. And a lot of them have more yardage. Any one of those. If you have any of those cakes, you bought them. If you won them because you happen to be a member from Mishi's channel and you won any of those things and you're like, what am I going to make with that? I don't know. It's gorgeous and it needs to have something special and it needs to be just something worthy of that beautiful yarn. This might be your pattern. It just, just go look at them, right? It might be your pattern. It just could be. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.